Hello everyone, my name is Akil O'Connor and I can see into the spiritual realms, I can hear into the spiritual realms, I can perceive into the spiritual realms, and I can channel from the spiritual realms. And this is my Egypt experience. Y'all, Egypt was crazy. Egypt was crazy. And here's the thing, I'm gonna jump right in it. First of all, let's get some of the mundane things out of the way. I got some beautiful pieces of jewelry in Egypt. I don't know if you can see this Isis pendant that I got after visiting the temple of Isis. And there are lots of really cool street vendors whose families have been creating jewelry for generations. They've traveled through the deserts, creating, crafting, and selling. It's just like, there's just so many special things there. So if you're planning a trip to Egypt, get your coins together. Get your coins together because there's so many beautiful pieces, the craftsmanship there when it comes to jewelry. Okay, back to the spiritual stuff. So I was on a retreat when I went to Egypt. I've been feeling pulled there for a very long time. Like many spiritually awakening people, there is something about the civilization of Egypt that is pulling all of us towards its knowledge, pulling all of us towards its wisdom. Because I feel like there's a false narrative today that, oh, ancient civilizations weren't as smart as we were. Ancient civilizations did not know as much as we do now. That is not true. They were very advanced. They were very spiritually advanced. They understood the technology of the body better than we do today. We have lost so much knowledge about this piece of biotechnology. We think of it just as a meat suit, that the only thing it can do is move through the world, carry us through the world. And the only thing we need to pay attention to when it comes to upkeep is about food and exercise. But we've completely lost the knowledge of the spiritual aspects of the body, the spiritual functions of the body. And in this day and age, what's coming back to us is that knowledge of what the body can do. Things that we now call spiritual gifts. They aren't gifts, they're natural abilities of this piece of biotechnology that has been forgotten. And that knowledge is coming back into our energy, into our space at this time. I was always being pulled to Egypt, but I didn't want to go by myself. Something in my spirit said, wait for the right time. Even when I did ayahuasca, I felt the consciousness of Isis come in, and she said, I'm not gonna stay for long because this is not our time. Our time is coming. I was like, okay. And she came in, gave me some blessings, and left. And so I was like, all right, I'm just waiting. I'm not gonna force this. I'm not gonna try and figure out how to get to Egypt. I'm gonna wait for it to come into my space. And y'all, so said, so done. In a few months, some really good friends of mine here in Bali who do amazing work in the spiritual community with Kundalini activations and energy sessions, they decided to do a retreat to Egypt. And I was like, oh, is this my time? And everything lined up well. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to Egypt this year. So this was March of this year. And y'all, it's such a weird thing where Egypt is everything you think it is, but it also isn't. The energy there is powerful. The energy at the temples, super powerful, super potent. But it is also encased by the energy of chaos, of trickery, and just the exact opposite right outside of all of the holy spots, right outside of all of the spiritual spaces. It is crazy. But let's start from the beginning. So the retreat was a 7-day cruise down the Nile. The Nile, y'all. So for the first 7 days, I hope it was 7 days. Was it 7 days? Yeah, I think it was 7 days. For the first 7 days of me being in Egypt, I was on the Nile River. And let me tell you, The energy of the Nile, the people of ancient Egypt regarded the Nile as the life giver. Because if you look at the map of Egypt, or even if you just look from a bird's eye view, what you will see is desert, sand, heat, and then just a little bit of greenery going right along the Nile, right along the Nile. So it's literally like the Nile brought life into Egypt. Without that source of water running through the land, there would be no life, right? So they regarded the Nile as this source of energy, this energy giver, this life giver. And that energy is so palpable, especially when you're sleeping on a boat on the Nile, or you're on the Nile for an extended period of time. You can feel your energy field just start to align and start to flow. Just start to flow, because it's a river. What is it doing? It's flowing energy in and it's flowing energy out. The river is never still. It's always moving. And so what that does for you is, yes, you feel the energy of flow. You feel yourself starting to align. You feel things coming together. You feel ideas coming together. But also where the blockages are, you feel that flow working on the blockages. You feel that pressure building up, because if there is a channel and there is a block in the channel and there is powerful energy or powerful water flowing through that channel, what's going to happen? The energy is going to build up at the blockage, and it's going to be pushing on the blockage, pushing until that blockage is cleared and the energy can flow through. So those of us who had different blockages at different points, we felt that pressure build, y'all. And as that retreat flowed on the Nile day after day, you could feel the pressure building as different things, different issues that you were having internally were being worked out. So that's one aspect, but that's retreat specific. Let's get into Egypt, y'all. A friend and I arrived 2 days before the retreat, so we stayed on the boat, just docked before we started to move, and we decided to go to some of the tombs. We went to the Valley of the Kings, or is it the Valley of the Queens? We went to the Valley of the Queens. Y'all, the tombs are beautiful, but let me tell you, the energy of death is palpable. Those tombs, they feel so dark, even though there's so much beauty on the walls. And I don't know if it's the fact that this is someone's burial place that has become this tourist attraction. You know, there are people going there with no reverence for the life that this person had. There's no reverence for the fact that this was someone's mother, this was someone's aunt, this was someone's confidant. You know, there's no reverence. It's tourists traipsing along, taking pictures, no energy of appreciation, no energy of understanding of where you're standing as well. The energy was a bit angry in those tombs. And I think we got a wake-up call, because we went to the tombs, we went back up home to the boat, and y'all, that first night that we slept, the energy was off. I had weird dreams, weird dreams, and just the feeling that something was off. So I was sharing a room with another girl who was very intuitive, and when I woke up the next day, I said, "Girl, did you feel okay?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "The energy is off, isn't it?" And she was like, "Yes." It seems as if you have to remember to cleanse your energy field once you're visiting these intensely spiritual spaces around the world. I feel like a lot of people forget to do that, especially those of you who are tuned in with energy, who you've cultivated your energy and your energy is big and it is bright. You are attracted to a lot of things. So when you are visiting these ancient sites, especially these ancient sites that see a lot of people come to visit them that are turned off, they see a lot of people come to visit them whose light is still asleep. It's not shining very bright. When you go as a person who's been activated, when you go as a person who's been uncovering your trauma through life, and so your soul is shining bright, your energy field is shining bright, you're like a beacon in the darkness. And when the ancient beings or even lower spirits that live in those spaces see you come in as a beacon, they attach themselves to you. So when you visit these sites, guys, make sure that when you go back home to where you're gonna lay your head, you cleanse your energetic space, you cleanse your energetic field before you go to sleep. You allow yourself to release anything that you've connected to, release anything that you've unwillingly given access to your space, release them. Send them back to where they've come from. Because if you don't, honey, these things will follow you. Either they'll attach to you, if you've somehow given them permission through your acts, through maybe something you've said, through there are various different ways you can give something permission to attach to your energetic field. Or if you haven't given them permission, they will follow you until you do something in your life that gives them permission. You have to remember to cleanse your energy field once you're visiting these intensely spiritual spaces around the world. I feel like a lot of people forget to do that, especially those of you who are tuned in with energy, who you've cultivated your energy and your energy is big and it is bright. You are attracted to a lot of things. So when you are visiting these ancient sites, especially these ancient sites that see a lot of people come to visit them that are turned off, they see a lot of people come to visit them whose light is still asleep. It's not shining very bright. When you go as a person who's been activated, when you go as a person who's been uncovering your trauma through life, and so your soul is shining bright, your energy field is shining bright, you're like a beacon in the darkness. And when the ancient beings or even lower spirits that live in those spaces see you come in as a beacon, they attach themselves to you. So when you visit these sites, guys, make sure that when you go back home to where you're gonna lay your head, you cleanse your energetic space, you cleanse your energetic field before you go to sleep. You allow yourself to release anything that you've connected to, release anything that you've unwillingly given access to your space, release them. Send them back to where they've come from. Because if you don't, honey, these things will follow you. Either they'll attach to you, if you've somehow given them permission through your acts, through maybe something you've said, through there are various different ways you can give something permission to attach to your energetic field. Or if you haven't given them permission, they will follow you until you do something in your life that gives them permission. They'll stop, they'll watch you from afar, and it could even be when you watch something, a certain type of something, when you drop in frequency because something in life has like taken you down and your energy levels are weak, you get to a certain vibration where they can attach. Various different things can happen. So please, please, please do your cleansing, whether that's your physical cleansing with your sage or your Palo Santo, or through your prayers. If you follow organized religion, do your prayers at night to break any connections with any sort of spirit that is lower in frequency than you. Y'all, we didn't do that. We were excited. We were excited we were in Egypt. We were excited we were on a boat. We were excited we were on the Nile. We just went in. We went in with reverence, of course, but we didn't take proper precautions coming back. We didn't do our cleansings. We didn't do our nothing, and we just went to sleep. So we're like, oh, this energy's a little off. We talked about it, this and that. The next night, I'm really bad with timelines, so I might not be telling this in order, so bear with me. But the next night, where most people started to arrive, and we were about, it's like the next day the retreat's gonna officially start. Y'all, one of the craziest things happened. We went to another tomb. I can't remember what this one is called. I don't know if this one was the Valley of the Kings or it was somewhere else. But went to another set of tombs. And y'all, one of my pet peeves in life, the bane of my existence, would be flies. I hate them. I can't stand them. I can deal with a lot of things, but if there are flies around, get me out of there. I don't know how people sit outside, eat, swatting away fly. I cannot do it. Get me out of there. I hate them. And so I'm telling you that for a reason. And so remember, I'm telling you the energy on this boat is off because we weren't doing our banishings or our clearings at night. And it was evening and I was getting ready to go up for dinner. And I noticed this huge fly in the room. Huge fly. It was just flying around. I never paid it any attention. I was like, get out of here, fly, get out of here. Got ready, went upstairs, ate my food. And this is where the first kind of mystical thing happened that didn't make sense. Ate my food, came back down. When I came back down, went in the bathroom, changed for, changed into sleepwear, getting ready for bed. And I looked on my side of the bed because there was twin beds that we had, but ours were pushed together. So it was essentially one bed. And on my side of the bed, that fly had pitched on the comforter and it was just there walking. I was like, nah, get out of here. So I went like this and it didn't move. I was like, why is this fly not moving? And y'all, when I looked, this fly literally, I don't know if they vomit or they poop it out or what, whatever it did, maggots, balls of maggots came out of this fly right on my side of the bed on the comforter. Balls of tiny, tiny, teeny maggots were just like squirming around on the comforter. I said, no. I said, Jesus. It was crazy because out of the two of us, I'm the one who hates flies. I'm the one who can't stand them. That fly passed my friend's side of the bed. She's like, nah, this spot. This is where I'm gonna put these baby maggots. Lay these baby maggots right on my bed. And this is right after we came from one of the tombs. And I looked at the maggots looked at me. I looked at the maggots and the maggots looked at me. And all of a sudden, I just felt the energy. It felt almost like a warning or a, I'm here. Are you paying attention? It felt like a, I know that you can feel me and see me, so I'm gonna speak to you in a more physical way. And I was like, oh, the energies here aren't playing with me. The energies here aren't playing with me. And so from that event on, I was a lot more vigilant about preparing my energy when I leave that boat to go to these sites and cleansing my energy when I came back from the sites. Once I saw those maggots, I said no. I don't know if it was a warning for me to tighten up or it was a communication, but it was definitely symbolic because nobody else in this whole boat had a fly shit maggots on their bed. Even when I told the boat crew, they're like, huh? That's not normal. And I was like, no, it's not. Then there's a symbolism of the maggots and the fact that once you die, it's the maggots that consume the dead body and kind of help with that transformation of the physical body back into something, a form that the earth can take. So there is that symbolism of death and transformation. And I think there's also that side of it because when I tell you this trip had so much symbology of death and transformation for me, so much so that I traveled to Egypt. Lots of us got our luggage delayed because it was just a busy time. Not only was my luggage delayed, it was lost that I never recovered it. I packed the best of my things because I'm going to Egypt, honey. I packed the best of my things together into that suitcase and I was excited for Egypt. My luggage never arrived and up until this point, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 7 months later, never recovered. It was completely gone. So when I began this trip to Egypt, it's as if Spirit said, you are leaving everything behind. Nothing. You can't take anything with you, because from that point on I had to buy new clothes, new makeup, new skincare, new hair care, new everything, new clothes, new crystals that I normally carry, new everything. And then everything that I have moving forward came from Egypt. Do you see that transitional line, that transitional point? Ooh, Spirit don't play sometimes. Not only that, I brought my laptop. Guess what? My laptop crashed the first night, completely crashed. Every time I press turn on, I see a pink screen and then it goes black. So my luggage was lost, my laptop crashed, everything that I brought there from my life was either lost, destroyed, or something has gone wrong with it. So I know for me, Egypt was a rebirthing point. And for a lot of you who know that at some point in your life you're gonna go to Egypt because it's calling you, it's more than likely going to be a rebirthing point for you as well. For me, there's life before Egypt and there's life after Egypt. Now, let's talk about the temples. There are so many people who visit the temples and completely miss the magic. And I think whoever is watching this right now, this is one of the reasons you're watching, because your spirit guides want you to understand how to visit sacred spaces. The sacred spots around the world that we all know are sacred and have energy vortices and things like that. There's a specific way to visit these spots so that you don't miss the magic of these spots. And it was interesting visiting the temples in Egypt because I see so many people just traipsing in, just taking pictures. This is beautiful, this is great, and completely missing the magic. Do not miss the magic. How do you visit these sacred spots and capture the magic? First, you have to set your intention that you're going to connect with the magic of these spots. Before you walk into a temple, take a moment to center yourself, to feel your own energy, because when you tune into your energy, you're tuning into the energetic space. You're tuning into the energetic realms. That's the kind of remote that's going to switch the channel from the physical. Sorry, a delivery guy just came. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so tuning into your own energy, centering yourself and feeling your energy is the remote switch from the physical into the energetic realms. So once you take a moment to do that and you set that intention, I want to feel the energy of this temple. I want to feel the magic that's here. And you tune into yourself. You've tuned into and put on the lens that allows you to perceive the energetic, to perceive the spiritual. Because I'm not special because I can see the spiritual realms. I've just tuned in. And you're on the journey of tuning in if you haven't been able to already. So once you start to practice these little presence practices, it only needs to take you 30 seconds to do that before visiting a spot. And you walk in, you're connected. Just know that you're connected, and that knowledge, that belief is the thing that will anchor and secure your connection to the energetic realm that is in that space. So please practice doing that. And the best way to practice doing that, why can't I talk today? The best way to practice doing that is in your spiritual practice daily. When you wake up, do you have a spiritual practice? That is the most important tool that's going to redevelop the spiritual aspect of your being. And I just wrote a book called Feminine Magic that's coming out on October 14th. For all you beautiful women out there who want to access your multidimensional self, this book is going to be paramount to your ability to do that. Anyway, So I set my intention. I was like, I'm going to feel everything that's going on here. Y'all, the temples literally have energy coming up out of the ground, like up, up, just shoo, shoo, shoo. And each temple has its own energy signature. And each temple is working on a different aspect of your energy. It is such a beautiful thing. I also want to say another thing that really helped tuning in is having a guide that understands spirituality. Having a guide that's not just telling you, oh, this was built in whatever BC by King Barada. We had a guide through the retreat who understood who we are and explained it as such, explained what energy was happening here, explained why the ancient Egyptians built this, what they were trying to connect to in spirit, what energy is this? Is this the feminine energy? Is this divine masculine energy? What's going on here? Are they bringing someone into the afterlife? Are they talking to this? It is so important to have that. And if you're going to Egypt, feel free to email me. I will refer you to the guide that we had. Such a beautiful man in explaining spirituality, but also in keeping you physically safe, because Egypt is not a place to play, especially for women. The energy there is very male dominated. And as a solo traveler, I travel a lot of places by myself. Egypt is not a place I would recommend for solo travel for women. But with a guide like him, I was so safe. He has very father energy, very protector energy, he knows everyone around because this is where he was born. Very good guide to have. So let me know if you want a referral to him. I'm going to put the list in the description of all of the temples that I visited on my trip. They all had very powerful energies. My favorite was the temple at Edfu. I'm hoping, I can't remember the exact name, I'll put it in the description below. But y'all, the temple at Edfu, it had different rooms, and I'm gonna try and put some pictures on the screen so you can see what I'm saying. They had different rooms in this temple, and each room had energy. You could see that the room was created with the focal point being the middle. And then there was an opening at the sky, and there was like a depression in the floor. And once you stood in the middle in that room, there's an energy vortex going, and it goes straight up through your body, straight up through the sky. And it works on your energy. And it's so palpable in these rooms. And I could tell which room was working on which chakra point, because I would enter the room, and for the root chakra, well, I didn't know that it was for the root chakra. I just entered the room and you feel the root chakra going boom, boom, boom. And then it's like my body starts to be pulled up. So from the root chakra, my body's like, and the same thing happened. I go in a different room, the next chakra, the next chakra, the next chakra, the heart chakra, my whole body was like, and I'll show you some pictures, because some of my friends took pictures of me and they're like, I'm like this. Because the energy is like pulling on that chakra. It's so powerful. And that's the thing that I loved about Egypt. When you're in other parts of the world, you have to be so silent. You have to be so still. You have to be so still to feel the energetic realms, to feel the spiritual realms. If you are not still enough, you'll miss the whisper. You'll miss the little feeling of the energetic realms. In those temples, you don't have to do anything. That energy is palpable. That energy is pulling on you. That energy is pulsating through you. That's the beauty of the temples at Egypt. As soon as you set that intention, and I guess maybe even if you don't set the intention, you will feel that energy working for you. So definitely visit the temple at Edfu.